Let us understand how to trim or remove leading and or trailing characters in a string. We will also see how to pad characters at a later point in time once we understand trimming part. Let's load the SQL magic and also let's create environment variable called as database underscore URL. ltrim is used to remove the character specified on the left side of the string. It is also called as leading side of the string. rtrim is used to remove the character specified on the right side of the string. It is also called as trailing side of the string. Trim is used to remove the characters specified on either sides of the string. You can either remove on the left side or leading side, or on the right side or trailing side, or both the sides. We will see all the examples so that you understand. So in this case I am using ltrim. You can see that I am just passing the string. I am not specifying any character which should be used to trim. By default it will trim the spaces. You can see that the spaces are trimmed. You can also pass the space as argument here, and you should be able to see that it have trimmed. So if you do not specify, it will try to trim the spaces. However, you can specify whatever string you want to trim. You can also use rtrim to trim on the right side. You can also validate by running length by using trim. So you can also use trim, and you can see that the spaces on both the sides are gone. That's why we are getting 11. Hello world is 11 character length. Now you can also specify arguments like this, as I have highlighted earlier. This will take care of trimming hyphens on the left side or leading side. This will take care of trimming hyphens on the right side, which is nothing but the trailing side. Now with respect to trim, we can actually specify like this, and we should be able to trim hyphen on both the sides. However, there is a special syntax with trim. You can say trim of leading and then the character which you want to trim like this, then from, then you can specify string like this, and it will take care of trimming the hyphens on the leading side, which is nothing but the left side. You can also use the similar syntax with trailing. So you have to say trailing hyphen from whatever string from which you want to trim the hyphens. You can also trim on both the sides. Also you can specify multiple characters, and you should be able to trim all those characters from your string. So in this case, if you have hyphen or space or semicolon on either sides of the string, it will just trim them off. You can see the output here. All hyphens, spaces and semicolons are trimmed from both the sides. This is how you should be able to use trim or ltrim or rtrim. The syntax even work with comma separated approach. You can also write this query like this. You can just say trim, and then you can actually copy this, then delete this part, then pass that character set as second argument, and still it should work. You can see that all hyphens, spaces and semicolons are deleted or removed. This is how you should be able to leverage trim or ltrim or rtrim to trim the characters you are looking for from your string. It will only trim on left side or right side or leading side or trailing side. Now let us understand how to use padding to pad characters to a string. Let us assume there are three fields, year, month and date, which are of type integer. If you have to concatenate all the fields and create a date, we might have to pad month and date with 0 whenever the length of month and date is less than 2 characters. That's where the padding concepts comes. LPAD is used more often in such scenarios. RPAD is used less often compared to LPAD. LPAD is primarily used to build the dates where the information is stored in multiple columns. Now this is how you can simulate year, month and date separately. It will return one record. That record will contain year as 2013, month as 7 and my date as 25. Now let's say I want to pad the month part, or for now I am hard coding the values. In this case 7 is of type integer. However, LPAD expects the first argument of type string. So if you do not specify varchar like this, and if you try to pad using numbers directly, it will throw an error. Either you can say the numbers as part of the single quotes like this, or you can also use the type conversion using this special syntax of Postgres. Either of the approach will work. You cannot just pass the numbers directly to LPAD. LPAD expects the first argument to be string. Now if the string length is same as the second argument, which is nothing but 2, it will not pad anything. It will just return whatever is the first argument. You can see here. However, if the string length is greater than the second argument, so in this case the length of 100 is greater than 2. Now if you try to run this, it just return 10. So you have to be careful with this regard. In some databases, if the string length is greater than the second argument, when we use function like LPAD, it will just return whatever value that is there instead of removing some characters the way it is happening in Postgres. So if you are from other databases, make sure you understand this subtle difference.